Hello everyone. We're going to introduce the second part of the modern Chinese literature, the period of anti-Japanese war and the Civil War between 1937 and 1949. During the anti-Japanese war, most writers fled to the interior, where they contributed to the war effort by writing patriotic literature under the banner of the All-China Anti-Japanese Association of Writers and Artists. Founded in 1938 and directed by Lao Tse, literary magazines were filled with short, easily produced and adaptable plays, topical patriotic verse, and war-zone dispatches. Famous writers as Ba Jin, Cao Yu, Mao Dun continued to produce work of high quality during his period. Dining's fictional exploration of female psychic and the social condition of women had caught the public's imagination in the 1920s. And in the late 1930s, the establishment herself as major literary figure in Yan'an. The Communist Party of China had established a base after the Long March in Yan'an. The literary ideas of the League were being simplified and enforced on writers and cultural workers. In 1942, Mao Zedong gave a series of lectures called Talks at the Yan'an Forum on Art and Literature that clearly made literature subservient to politics via the Yan'an's ratification movement. The document would become a national guideline for culture after establishment of the People's Republic of China. Mao's literary ideas had first been realized in the 1940s by Zhao Shuli, whose early stories, such as the Rhymes of Li Youcai, were models of proletarian literature, both in form and in content. As the Civil War neared its conclusion, novels of land reform, such as Dining's prize-winning The Sun Shines Over the Sanggan River, The Hurricane by Zhou Libo, became quite popular. After the nationalists retreated to Taiwan and the establishment of October 1949 of the People's Republic of China, most writers, feeling intense pride and welcoming the challenge, chose to remain on the mainland and serve the new government. Mao's era, 1949 and 1976. After coming to power in 1949, the communists gradually nationalized the publishing industry, centralized the book distribution system, and brought writers under institutional control through the Writers' Union. A system of strict censorship was implemented, with Mao's Yan'an talks as a guideline force. This part of the history was full of turmoil caused by continual ideological and struggle and political movement, such as anti-Hufeng campaign and rightist movement, Great Leap Forward, and the worst Cultural Revolution. Authors wrote about contemporary China as well as other times during China's modern period, with the use of socialist realism and combined with its so-called revolutionary realism and revolutionary romanticism. Some of the famous works of the great quality were produced: The Builder by Liu Qin, The Song of Youth by Yang Mo, Tracks in the Snow Forest by Qu Bo, The Red Craig by Luo Guangbin, Yang Yiyan. After the death of Mao and the fall of the Gang of Four, literature made a comeback and the most surviving writers were rehabilitated. Although the progress was as rocky as political scene, Chinese literature continued to reflect. Post-Mao era, 1976 and now, the booming of literature in what would be called the new era resulted from the liberation of the writers and the openness of the politics. This stage may be regarded as one of the literature prosperities in history. The accusatory of scar literature, a sort of national catastrophe that immediately followed by the 10-year Cultural Revolution, gave way to more professional and more daring writing. This literature contained disquieting views of the party and the political system. Intensely patriotic, those authors wrote cynically of the political leadership that gave rise to the extreme chaos and disorder of the Cultural Revolution, as exemplified in stories of Wang Meng with the stylistic experiments in stream of consciousness, the symbolic, obscure poetry as Bei Dao, the innovative, investigative reportage of Liu Yinyan. Other writers such as Wang Zhenqi, Gao Xiaosheng, the latter's short stories about Chen Huansheng, Jia Pingwa, Han Shaogong, Shi Tiesheng, Wang Suo, and Yu Yihua. Above all, Mo Yan, whose novels won international attention in the mid-1990s and afterward gained literary reputation with his fanciful Red Sorghum Clan, which finally earned him Nobel Prize for Literature in 2012. At the turn of the 20th century, the concept of freedom caught on quickly, literature undergoing a multiple development, especially with the rise of the new generation born in the 1980s. Their works are in great diversity and full of individuality, but closely related to the contemporary society. So many excellent writers and so many fine works are growing that it is so hard to list all of them, with Guo Jinmin, Cry Me a Sad River, and Han Han, Triple Gate as the representatives. With the dawning of the information age, nature writers were booming in the past 2 decades, producing and publishing a multitude of literary works online, diversified in themes and forms. Chinese literature was, in, and shall ever be in an endless flowing river in Chinese and world history and civilization. That's all. Thank you.